Wow. Breaking news. It just got a whole lot worse for Jarrell, Big Baby Miller. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. You know, I don't want to spend too much time on the intro. Make sure you, if you're new, consider subscribing. Now, things just got a whole lot worse for Big Baby Miller, from sugar to shit. You know, in case you live under a rock, you'll know that he failed the first drug test with the banned substance, GWS 1516, something like that. He sent out like a public declaration, say he's gonna fight this, and you know, on his Instagram. But this just in, VADA has submitted the findings of another adverse test, a second failed drug test with a different substance. So this is bad, because if it was the same thing that he failed for, then, you know, people look like that. But there's a second banned substance that was found. Shout out to ESPN, the first people I seen that kind of covered this. Wow. It says heavyweight contender Jarrell, Big Baby Miller, has failed a second VADA test, this one for the banned substance HGH. And most of us, you know, even the people who aren't really well versed with anabolic steroids and stuff, people will know what HGH is. 3 sources told ESPN on Friday. Miller's positive test for the banned substance GW1516 in a urine sample collected by VADA on March 20th had already cost him a shot at the unified champion Anthony Joshua on June 1st, Madison Square in New York, where the state commission denied him a boxing license. Miller denied knowingly taking a banned substance. The positive HGH test came in a sample collected on a different date than the March 20th sample. Right? Wow. So it's not like, you know, first of all, the components, you know, the components found, I haven't heard of any kind of cross-contamination or tainted meat that would show these foreign bodies in your system. You know what I'm saying? Like Canelo, Francisco Vargas, and Eric Morales, they're from Mexico. So they were able to use like, hey, I ate meat, I was in Mexico, and, you know, they had tainted meat, clenbuterol and stuff like that. But there are no documented cases that I've seen that, you know, cattle ranchers were feeding GW1516 and HGH and then trying to sell the product to you know, so it's not like something from a contaminated food source that I've heard of, you know. Now Eddie Hearn, this is his verified page, he might as well just take this whole banner down, because this event is pretty well over, and it's been over. Eddie Hearn confirms this, as you guys see. We have now received news from VADA that Jarrell Miller has now failed a second separate test for a further substance. AJ's June 1st opponent will be announced next week. If you don't think you could beat him being AJ, clean, if you don't think you could beat him clean, then delete my number. So, you know, this is bad for Jarrell Miller. Like, the perception, the findings. He said he was going to clear his name, but it just got that much harder. I got to be honest with you guys. This is not a good situation that Miller wants to be in, for a couple of reasons. You know, it goes without even saying, but he failed previously in combat sports. He failed a drug test. Then he failed the first drug test with GW1516 on March 20th. Now he failed a second drug test as it relates to the Joshua fight for HGH on a separate date. And on top of that, he accused Anthony Joshua of being on PEDs vehemently. He said, "Oh, I know people like you. I talk in boxing circles, and you know, you've been on testosterone and got exemptions." He seemed to speak heavily on PED usage, and now that they have this stringent testing for this fight, everything has come in kind of folded on the situation. I don't even know how you clear your name with VADA. This is, I don't even know what could be done. You know what I'm saying? He said, the reason I'm saying that is because on Instagram he said he was going to find some kind of way to clear his name, but this is very challenging, because the only thing that you could say is that you were framed or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody set you up, but then people are gonna wonder, like, who was that person? Like, who set you up? You know, if someone on your team, push this, and I don't know. Like, I'm not even trying to be the judge, jury, and the executioner. But at the end of the day, oh wow, look, people are already posted about it. At the end of the day, this is why you have to choose your team wisely, get people you entrust, and stuff like that. And so I can't really blame his team until he blames his team. You know, I have to put the blame on the fighter because he hasn't said anything as to who gave him anything. Frank Warren mentioned this as well. So unless you're willing to, sue somebody else, then it doesn't sound right to blame somebody else unless we know who that person is, and that's going to kind of require you to snitch. This is a bad look, bad look for Jarrell Miller. I don't know how you would even try to clear your name on something like that. They got you for two different drugs in 2 different dates. I heard they were going to try to test Jarrell Big Baby Miller's B sample. I don't know if they've already submitted the paperwork to do that, but that could be a bad look, because more often than not, the B sample shows what the A sample shows. So if they test the B sample and it's like, okay, we found GW1516 in that, then that's still a bad look. It's not like it's telling us anything we don't already know, that he had something in his system. However, it'll be a bad look in lieu of this news. He failed 2 drug tests with 2 separate compounds and banned substances. So if they go through with it to try to clear his name with this news, then that's going to be a bad look. Just if the B sample is tested positive, or if they cancel it, his team already, it's a bad situation, people. His team said they're gonna open the B sample. So if they cancel that and say, fuck it, then that's not gonna be a good look either. So it's kind of trapped. I don't know what Miller was doing or thinking to allow this to happen in such a monumental moment in his career. Like he said, he worked 15 years for it, and this is not good. This is not a good look by any means. Not just the money, but everything. What it does to your reputation. This should be a warning. Here's what Miller had put. He said, "I want to thank all of my supporters who have stood by me since day one, and especially during this extremely difficult time. I have not been tuned in to social media and any other social media outlets to focus and channel all my energies into working hard with no distractions." He goes on to say, "I am absolutely devastated upon hearing the news my boxing license has been revoked in New York, and I will be vigorously appealing this decision. I have never knowingly taken any banned substance. When I found out the news last night, I was totally shocked. My team and I stand for integrity, decency, and honesty, and together we will stand to fight this with everything we have." So I don't know who wrote this. I don't know if he wrote it. I don't know if a PR person wrote it, but this is not, it's not a good look, because you just said, my team and I stand for integrity, decency, and honesty, and together, so I'm assuming you and your team, we will stand to fight this with everything we have. So seeing another failed drug test, who gave it to you? And so if you're not blaming your team, you're not blaming yourself, then it's like, you have to be like, why are all these foreign bodies and, you know, anabolic steroids and HGH in your system? That just doesn't make sense. And you're saying me and my team stand for integrity, decency, and honesty, and together we're gonna work to take a stand. And so you're not blaming your team and you're not blaming yourself. So, you know, the question would be posed, how did this stuff get in your system? I can't really speak for, you know, I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down. Miller, you know, has been very cool to me in the past, and, you know, friend of the channel, stuff like that. But this is a bad look. It's just, I'm not the one to sugarcoat it and stuff. It's a bad look. You know, squandered opportunity. You're not blaming yourself or your team. So it's like, who would do something like that? I can't speak for everybody because everybody's body is different. But I know when I was working out hardcore, even things like protein, not protein really, but certain pre-workouts, sometimes I stop taking, like, just, I don't really even do pre-workouts, you know? So like, I used to only just do protein, but sometimes I'll get like a pre-workout and it would have me jittery. Or even like if you guys do like a Red Bull or energy drink, you know, a Bang energy drink or something, sometimes those different things, they have you feeling like, you could tell, like you have like a caffeine high and then you have a caffeine crash. So I know me personally, when there's something in my system, you know, that's not natural, I can usually tell. Like sometimes even if I have too much coffee. So I don't know. I never did steroids, so I don't really know, but I've talked to a lot of people. I'm pretty well versed on certain anabolic steroids like HGH and what it does. And if that's in your system, I don't really know how you wouldn't feel the effects of it. Like, hey, I feel different. Like I'm just in here, because HGH is called human growth hormone. You know what I'm saying? So if you just all of a sudden you just benching and like, you know, so that part doesn't sound really realistic, that you have these hardcore of things in your system, but yet, you know what I mean, you don't feel nothing. You don't, like, man, I'm feeling like crazy. I feel like the Hulk or something. You know what I'm saying? So it just, you have to understand and look at the perception. And the perception here is horrible. You accuse Joshua. You failed a previous drug test unrelated to this. You failed the first drug test with component A. Then you failed a second 3 days later. You know, your fight got canceled off the first shit. Then you failed a second one, and they're showing HGH, which is readily available and known. And this sounds like the steroid world. You know, PEDs. People make these concoctions. It's just like, you know, like a meth lab or any other drug. You know, people make these different cocktails and concoctions, and you have these gurus and scientists who know what is checked for. This is like a SARM, and you have these people, the chemists, and, you know, people who peddle this shit, and they know what's like screened for or what's not screened for, and they promise you all these things of like being able to beat the test and take this to flush it out of your system, even if you're doing, you know, this test. So it's a crazy, it's the underworld of pro sports. I've seen a lot of documentaries and read a lot of literature on this, and the only thing that is crazy is if you don't flush it out of your system, or, you know, you didn't have time to flush out your system, things like that is going to be detected. It's going to show up on your tests, you know, or if it, you know, any type of steroid, these are powerful things. Like anabolic steroids could shut off the natural production of things that your body normally produces, because your body's like, hey, what do we need to produce this for when we're getting these large amounts of it? That's why steroids are bad, and they give PEDs, you know, certain ones, they give you long lasting like effects. Sometimes men lose their hair, you know, when women do them, sometimes they grow hair, like, because it's a hormone, you know, it does different things. You know, some people can't get it up, or, you know, become fertile, you know, or infertile, excuse me. And then sometimes people, you know, they can't produce certain things anymore. This is a nightmare. I don't even know who Joshua's gonna fight at this point, but, you know, Jarrell Miller, this has to be a lesson, you know, with all these stringent drug tests, they're getting better with screening, and it's random. So that's the thing that makes it worse, is if it's random, as a fighter, you don't know when to clean your system. That's why they pop up on you like that. So you don't, it just, you know, if you're using some shit and you haven't, you know, taken the remedy to alleviate it, flush out your system, is going to show. Because like some of these fighters I know personally, and they be getting tested 13, 18 times for a particular fight before the fight. Not even, you know what I'm saying? So with that type of frequency, it's kind of hard to, you know, it's like double dutch. You have to jump in with whatever you're doing to try to flush it out of your system using a diuretic, try to piss it out or whatever they use. I'm not, you know, I'm not in that world, but it's like, it becomes like double dutch. You trying to hurry up and get it out of your system, but you don't know when they coming, and then people get flagged. So, you know, we'll wait and see what Jarrell Miller has to say to this, but clearly, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that this is not a good look. You know, people also, like I said, the perception is just absolutely terrible, because he's saying, hey, I know bodybuilders and stuff like that, and there's a lot of people in that world that, you know, do a bunch of shit. You know, it's just a bad look. Like I said, you accuse Joshua, you failed a drug test yourself. Like, imagine if they took in the bodybuilding world, if they required some of those contests to have the same type of random VADA testing, you know? And then, like I said, also the perception becomes like, damn, this guy is 315 pounds and he's throwing a ungodly amount of punches and not ever getting tired. So it looks like the effects, you know, the perception of it is gonna look like, damn, whatever you're on is giving you that ability to have crazy cardio. You know, Nate Diaz said everybody's on steroids, you know, at one point. So, you know, people should thank Floyd Mayweather, because he was the one that really brought the drug epidemic, you know, and brought that to light and said we need Olympic style blood and urine testing. You know, Floyd was the one that did that. And, you know, people accused him of being a pussy and being afraid of fighting against Pacquiao. But you see, it's needed in the sport to, you know, just to see what's going on. But a huge missed opportunity for Miller. I will report if he, you know, comes out and has something to say, but terrible situation. And has now been confirmed by Eddie Hearn, ESPN. Failed a second drug test, HGH. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.